Oh, okay. Hi. I'm trying to again. I need to get a person here. Um, trying to make this work. Um, okay, that's over there working. How do I get it working over here? I'm sure. Oh, it takes me to YouTube. No, that's not what I want to do. So figure out how this works somehow. Maybe somebody will tell me one day how does that Facebook work. So, how does it go live? I know it goes live. So, um, thank you for joining me. I am Ronnette Branham with Empowered Educators. So, this is YouTube. Oh, everything takes me to YouTube. Hmm. Okay, so I'm sorry. So this is Ronnette Branham with Empowered Educators with Ronnette Branham. I am your hostess. And I am so excited for this week and what there is to come because I have been at this podcasting thing for 2 years now. Um, so this is exciting. 2 years on Friday. One second, give me one. Well, I just look like that. So I'm just excited about what God has in store. I have been pondering a few things. Am I going to keep the name Empowered Educators with Ronnette Branham? Is this going to work? Is this what I want to do? So just so you know, you know, the name, and then am I trying to change for a specific reason? Do I want to change? How does that work? Is it, do I want to go back to the name and keep educators with oil? So I know I don't need to change for people because that is not what I'm here for. I'm here, like I just heard a whole message that like floored me about having your assignment and working on your assignment. And what is my assignment? My assignment is for me to work with educators. I don't even know how does this Facebook thing look. I really do. I think I went there. I think I was there before and it just went. So can I pause for 1 second? Okay, sorry about that. I am here. So again, I'm trying to see again that Facebook thing. It's just gonna keep bothering me. I want to go to my, maybe somebody can tell me, somebody will tune in and let me know what I'm doing wrong or right. Looking at my events, maybe look at my events and go there. Okay, so where's my event? Do I need to log on here? That's it. That's not it. This is it. Okay. Okay, so it's just taking me to it's taking me to here. Okay, same. How do I turn this down? Okay. All right. So that's not what I wanted to do. So I'm gonna do that. I just want to go on Facebook. Okay. So maybe it will pop up, maybe it won't. I'm not sure. So again, thank you for tuning in. I am again Ronnette Branham, Empowered Educators, and I'm your hostess. So I just want to say again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. There are some people who rock with me every week. There are some people who tune in because they want to support me. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you coming together with me to build a community. Again, you see what it says. We want to unlock potential and inspire excellence. So we want to get together, and create a supportive environment. We want to work together, maybe come together and brainstorm some ideas. That is what I'm that's my next goal. So today we're going to talk about hot topics, because I went to a conference about a week and a half ago, maybe, and I went to a little mini workshop, and it was about hot topics. The topics were all over the place. When I say all over the place, whatever somebody wants to talk about, that actually was a hot topic. It had nothing. They had sometimes to do with education, sometimes didn't. It just was hot topics. So, with that being said, we have so many topics that we have discussed over the last 2 years. We have so many topics that are still pending in our minds and our hearts, things that we want to discuss that are still unresolved, or that we still need to discuss. And just with that being said, we have things like the curriculums. This is one thing that I always talk about. We already know that I said that so much about the curriculums not meeting the standards, or something that our students should be doing or could be doing. Does it match? Does it fit? Can we work with what we have to educate our students? And not everything is negative. Not every topic is negative. I know people talk to about teachers, and we talk about teachers having summers off. People talk about teachers, or I do too, talk about teachers having being available for every holiday with their family. So that's not an issue for us. Yes, that's when school is out. School is out because students need to be able to travel with their families. Just so happens that's our job. So that works for me. We have topics about like technology and equity in the classroom. We have we have so many. Let me see. I'm gonna stand right here. Move this like this. And a big topic right now is social emotional learning, because we have issues where students are going through so many things, and they have to be in a classroom going through these things, and we have to create environments that are conducive for learning when the students are coming in with different issues. And those issues are spilling over into the classroom. That is something that we really have to work around, work because of. And one thing I just go, let me see. I know people are talking about uh I people were talking about this diversity, equity, and inclusion. My take on that may not be your take on that. And when I talk about diversity, I'm talking about different ethnicities, boy, girl, um, the different places. Like a teacher may come from the suburbs and she teaches in the inner city, or vice versa. How does that affect our teaching? or uh, I said racist. So we have I'm going to go into one. So just say we talk about diversity. How do we teach our Black and brown students? And when I say Black and brown, I know there's so many different that we call brown. How about if you're in an environment when the students are mostly Hispanic? Do you teach differently, or have a different a different idea of those students than you would African American students, Black students, or Indian students, whatever the population? You may teach where it's predominantly Asian students. So Chinese is different from Indian. So you may have these different ethnicities, and how do you teach according to those? Because I know, and I we have these different biases, and that we have to recognize. For instance, just say we have a little Black girl, I have to be cognizant myself, because just say you have a little African American student come from the inner city, what do we call it, an urban area, right? Comes from an urban area, and you have Hispanic students who come from maybe Guatemala or someplace like that. So how do you treat that student as opposed to the rest, being an African American teacher, or whatever your ethnicity is? Because do we act like that student has to be stronger than everybody else? Somebody picks on them, do we get upset like you should be stronger than that? Do we do that? Right? Do we not let them be sad about something, not let them express their feelings? If somebody's attacking them, I had an issue where a little girl was so upset. This person kept bothering them. They were like, he keeps bothering me. And it was like, this little boy, I had to explain. She was all upset. So I had to explain, if you want to be free to be able to be happy and have joy in the classroom, you're going to have to ignore this person. Because think about it. If they were capable of not bothering you, don't you think they would? Because they actually like you. They want to be your friend. Sorry about that. And so they want to be your friend, but they don't have the capacity to not be in your business. They don't have the capacity to worry about themselves. They're in everything, and then they like to pick with you. They don't have the capacity. So I was trying to teach her to be, if she wants to be happy, if she wants to be free to be happy, she changed. I mean, she was so upset about this. He keeps bothering me, and she is getting all upset and crying and carrying on and doing whatever. I have these behaviors because she felt like she was being attacked. And so I sat there, and once I explained to her, you are friends. Even though you fight every single day, he's your friend. He says he's your friend. I don't know why. I know that because I'm an adult. I can see he has a hard time controlling himself, minding his business, and not having these outbursts or blurting out things. I understand that, right? So I had to make her understand. If he had the capacity to stop bothering you and stop calling your name for different things, don't you think he would? So I need you to understand that he can't help it. He's trying and he can't help it. And I promise you, he can't help it. He couldn't help it, right? So once she understood, and I sat there and explained it to her, she was happy. She just let it go. She just let it go. My job is teaching second grade for a long time. She's a second grade student. She was 7. She wasn't even 8. So she was able to understand that I want to be free. I can't walk around here angry. And so that is something, that's that SEL that we have to deal with. We have different students who, so that was, when I said that's a combination of that diversity and equity in the classroom. At the same time, it is that SEL where we have to learn, teach self-monitoring skills, to teach the students, how to improve performance by working on themselves, So we have to include activities. I know we were talking the other day, yesterday, we had a meeting with somebody, and it seems like, I don't know how this is going to work, but they're going to have included with our already overloaded workload, um, this SEL program. And there's lessons and things. So I don't know when we're going to have the time because they cut some things. That's another thing. That's another hot topic, as having administration pile on more and more work. And what are we going to do? So I wanted to say too, also, if you're tuning in and you want to get in on the discussion, let me know and I will send a link and show. I will send a link so that you can. I'm going to type that. Okay, so I can send a link and I'll just let you know that. I just typed that in here and then I will put it up there on, but I don't know where is that. Okay, yeah. So I'll hide this one. Where's the one I need to hide? This is, yeah, yeah. So anyway, there's so many, and I know I have a meeting with our one of our administrators Thursday, and we're going to discuss, as I've done in the past, this new ELA curriculum, this literacy curriculum that we have, this literacy program that we have, and how we had something perfect. We had a few things. I piloted something a few years ago that was perfect, right? And now they gave us something that doesn't have books. I know I keep saying that, and doesn't have books, right? This is a topic, a hot topic for me and in our district, where we are trying to maneuver through these new directives, these new programs, and we don't have, it doesn't work. We have to keep on supplementing things. We have to supplement when we shouldn't, when we can have a program that has everything that we need. And I have a meeting on Thursday with an administrator, and we're going to have a conversation. How do you think this is supposed to work? How does this work? Why should I have to? If I didn't have my own level readers, I would be having a very hard time moving my students up. So I do the phonics. That has helped tremendously, right? Our program does not even have phonics. We have one that had phonics incorporated in it, had level readers incorporated in it. And if my students are higher or lower, I was able to assign them books on their level, even though they weren't second grade level, right? I had a bilingual class, and I was able to assign students books in Spanish. And then I had one particular student who, she didn't speak English at all. She could say some phrases, she could give you some things to help her out to function. And I would assign books or go get books from the other class, that the actual physical books, or I could assign them online, where she could have a group with her who knew how to read, because they came from bilingual also, knew how to read in Spanish, they could read together. So that really worked. This has no books, has no bilingual part to it in our district. My school is like 90% Spanish speaking students. So make that make sense. So that is a topic that we have. That social emotional. If you know the behaviors that I have in my classroom, where you have to sit down and work on these behaviors and these students' emotional state before you can even get into a subject of teaching. You can't even, you could, but half the class won't be listening because of these behaviors. Or that one child definitely won't be paying attention or involved in the conversation. That is something. There are so many conversations. There are so many topics, so many things that we could discuss as hot topics that we could talk about technology in the classroom. Some people don't have enough technology in the classroom. They don't have enough, or they don't have enough. They don't have one-to-one in their district, or you get some districts who everybody has 2-to-1, something in school, something at home, or something that they take back and forth. And they might be in a community where they can take their technology back and forth. In my district, you say these students are going to go back and forth with a laptop, back and forth with an iPad. Come on now, they could get robbed just because if everybody in the district is doing it, everybody in the neighborhood will know. Most people, the people who have children in their family, or they take in their families, or they have family members where they go to their house and they see the iPad. You know, we have people who might steal. And then we have people who do have the technology. They could go home and do whole projects, right? They could do whole projects because they have all the technology that they need. You know, one other subject might be how we teach, you know, teaching on the level of the student. You know, let me see. Where is that? Not technology. So we might teach project-based learning, right? Where we work on projects. I particularly love project-based learning, not for everything. And it depends how, if I have everything that I need, then we can knock it out and we can work and we can learn things. But just say, I heard, I don't know, people get upset when you call people's names and they might not like these people. But there's this person who is an engineer, and he was talking about the way students can learn, the way they should learn. And he was saying that we teach kind of backwards. And, you know, we emphasize going to a traditional school or going to college. Not everybody need college. Like if you're going to open your own business, you don't necessarily need college. You can learn, educate yourself, or get somebody to educate you for free. You don't have to go to college and come out in debt. But he was explaining, like, this is my project-based learning. And I took it from him. I already know project-based learning, but the way he described it, like, just say you want to talk about farming, right? There might be a problem in farming, right? Somebody has all this land and they want to create a farm. Second grade students need to learn two-digit addition. You could talk to them about what crops they need. You know, you could talk to them about environment, and they could come up with a particular crop in a particular environment. So that would be science and social studies, math, culture. You know, it could be everything together. That's a project. So just say we need to have a certain amount of crops, or we need to make a certain amount of money. For instance, we have 23 rows of corn. We have 48 rows of watermelon. We have 30 rows of lettuce. How many rows of crops does this farmer have? That's a great math problem. But at the same time, we're creating these things. You may create a diorama of that. You may create a whole poster board with your project on it. How much are they going to sell their products for? How are they going to advertise? The student will have to write some kind of report, get together with a partner or a group, and just say second grade, we teach phonics. But the reason we teach in phonics, we let them know because you need to write. So if you have to write something, I need these words spelled right. You're going to use these sounds that we learned, and you're going to create. So don't use words that are too big for you. Use words at a fifth grade level, second grade level, and you can collaborate together, and you can write, okay, we learned should and could and long A, long I, and I'm going to put together a paragraph about this farm. A second grader can do that by the end of the time when your project needs to be done. If you give them all the tools they need with the spelling patterns that they need, they could come away with a written paragraph, a written page, and they work together, you know, collaboratively. They can do that. And so within that, project, within that problem that you're trying to solve, feeding the city or doing something with the land, they come out with spelling, math, science. They learn about land, about uh, uh, climate. They learn about different states and what kind of crops will grow great in that state. They have to do this research, and this is how they learn. Instead of we're teaching apple all day long, and then when you ask them how to spell apple, they cannot, because they're like they can't, right? They're writing they are writing AP. Maybe if they know they have two P's, and they got UL. I have had it. Like, so I understand this is how students write. So we have different things that we have as hot topics. Also, classroom management. We talked about that last 2 weeks, where we have issues with positive behavior support. We have to learn positive behavior support. We have to learn how to engage the students. I keep going back to a few different things. When I had the Spanish speaking students who didn't understand English, they were engaged in their own conversations. They didn't pay me any attention. They were totally disengaged. Not everybody. There were some who could speak fluent English and they were ready. Then when the students are together and they don't know English, they're having their own conversations. They're totally disengaged because they don't understand what you're saying. That's a hot topic, because I know this is what they say I need to do next year. I'm on the fence. It doesn't matter, because if I stay at this where I am right now, that's the job I'm going to have. So I have to suck it up and see how God says to proceed with that. That's not something I want to do, right? But that's a hot topic. They're changing things, or the demographics are changing, and you have these different populations that you have to educate. How does it work? So that is absolutely a hot topic. That is something that we have to have conversations about. The administration comes up with these ideas, and it's like they don't have to run anything by us, but it's a good idea to talk to the people who are in the classroom. Our Board of Education members, some of them have never been in a classroom. They're making decisions based on what they heard, what they think, what they don't even know about. Then we have our supervisors, our superintendents, and our assistant superintendents coming with these things, and they have been so far removed from the classroom, and we have to work things out. So that is something that we need to talk about. Again, like I said, not everything is a complaint, but there are discussions that need to be had. There's definitely discussions that need to be had. And I know we have to talk about classroom management. That's a topic. And again, if anybody is here who wants to comment or just have something that is a hot topic that they've been thinking about, let me see. Let me add this. Where is that? I'm going to edit that. So that's some things we need to discuss. We need to discuss again, like technology integration in the classrooms. We get stuck. The older people, I don't know about younger people, but we get stuck. We have a book in our hand. We're discussing. You want to come to the board and write. We want to come over here and have a discussion with our students. And there's so many other ways to get our students to be engaged using technology. We have yesterday had a student. We were working at a table and we were doing math. First of all, she was like, I can't do that. And then I explained to her, yes, you can, because you've been doing it. I don't know what it was that she thought she couldn't. She forgot. I don't know. And I said, let's do it together. Let's work. So she got tired of writing on the paper. I was showing her. She got tired of writing on paper. She pulled out her iPad. And I'm like, what are you doing? We're working. So she was on the technology using that instead of the paper to set up her equations. She was making her place value chart on her computer. That is something we can do. We could have, in our math, we have the quizzes. In social studies, we have the quizzes online, but there are different things when projects that we could use the computer for. So there are so many different, and for my social emotional, when we're out sitting at when we're sitting on the rug and we have a discussion before reading, we might sit down and we say, we might do role playing. We discuss, let me see. We discuss things like, what does it look like to be sad? What does it look like to be happy? What are some things that will cause us to be happy? Some things that will bring us joy. We act it out. I said, let me see happy hands, sad feet, things like that. A lot, like I said, I don't know. I talked about this with somebody maybe here. Some students didn't even understand what that was, what it looks like. We're working on all these different things and we don't understand what it looks like. Again, we have different, each student has a different skill, a different interest. We could work to tailor the education to them. So for instance, in a large group, you may work on phonics or whatever, storytelling. And then when they go to work on their own, you grab a small group and you work to those students' interests, right? You may have students who are interested in technology and students who are interested in drawing. And you could just say you're working on spelling, right? Just say, so you have these students who are interested in drawing. I have some people who are artists, and I have in the past. Remember I had a little girl who she could draw like a cartoon. I had another one who drew it like anime. And so they could write a story with their pictures and then add the words using the spelling patterns that you're working on. That group, maybe the next group may be interested in playing games, and you can make a game where they get awards and medals and things for different aspects of a project that they do. I mean, just say you have a math game. You have you can put together different equations about things in the classroom and then say the first person back with the answer, you get this medal. Different things, because kids love working together. They absolutely love working together, and they love games. I mean, not everybody. You might have that art group. You might have that technology group. You may have that group that is into, I think they call it gamification or something like that. You may have that group. So you can do, because this is what we do. This is what I've been doing in the past. I know next year I have to work on something different to keep me engaged. And we work with the reading groups. Everything is the reading group. Some things are the math group. It depends on the groups, what you're working on. But it's the reading group or the math group. So we have the low readers here. We have the mid-level here. And then we have another group right there, depending on how many students you have. And we're working like that. So we're teaching them these different spelling patterns. We're teaching them these aspects of a story, right? Based on their reading. But how about we work on based on their interests? Really, we have people who love to draw. I have students who just doodle the whole time. They're paying attention because they answer questions. And I'm like, you keep drawing. To me, it looks like they're not paying attention. But when I ask a question, they have it. They're on it, right? We can draw out stories and then put the words to it. What is wrong with that? And literacy, we have poetry, because that's another hot topic. We go through these different modules. I'm going to call them modules in literacy in math. And we're in second grade talking about poetry. Let's draw a story first and then add the words to it. Add the poetry to it. Find some rhyming words. Find a beat to go with this poem. We might be talking about what is it called? Narrative stories, right? And let's draw the story for that person. The gamification group. I learned that word today. The gamification group, they can make a game or draw out a game or make a game and then put the story to it. This person has to do this, this, and this in order to get to the end of this game. They may have to go through, if we're talking farming, if we're talking technology, they may have to build something in this game in order to get to the end, but there's writing involved, there's science, there's technology involved. That's something. My major hot topic, no matter where I go, is talking about the curriculum. I know I already spoke on that. It is definitely talking about the curriculum. How does it work? Does it fit? Is it doable? Is it doable? I don't know if it's doable or not. I know that we have different things that don't seem to work. We have another hot topic of mine is professional development. We're going to these professional development workshops. Same thing over and over and over. How about when in the summertime, you're going to have a new program, a new reading program, a new literacy program, new science, social studies, whatever you're going to have new. How about in the summertime, you offer the training, 3-day training where you get to dig into it. Instead of waiting until we get to school, somewhere in September, we have professional development day. You give me an hour and a half. And I know myself, we got to these professional development workshops and the presenters, they are saying, well, this is really a 3-day training, stuff like that. And so when I'm ready, not to mention we start September, I don't have the tools that I need. So there are discussions that need to be had when it comes to that. Also, we can look for go to the Education Association if you work for a public school and find these different workshops that will fit for us to see if your district will pay for it. A lot of times they do, or if it's not your district, your county, even your state, somebody can pay for this for you, right? So that is something that we could do. Also, we have in professional development workshops that just say they told me this math program. I still need to know science and literacy, but the next professional development workshop next month is going to still be on math, but a different part of it. Yet I don't know enough of the literacy program or anything of science or whatever the case may be. So we have these different things that we need to talk about. I still, again, I like topic-based learning. I like personalized learning, where I get in these small groups and work with that student on based off their need, based off their learning style. Some people can't learn the way we are teaching. Some people need a little more animation to their learning process, right? It's just there's a lot that we could talk about. Like, I don't even know. We could talk about. I'm excited because we are talking about subjects that are dear to us. Talk about not having enough bilingual teachers. That's something that is affecting my district right now, because that's the reason I have to do dual language. I heard the other day that after I left the department, the students, they were learning more English and they were catching on. They were reading and doing what they needed to do. It just took so long. Mind you, we're going through it. We're going through it for months and months. So that's something that we need to discuss. And how does that affect us teaching in the classroom? That is something, because students have personal issues. They have language issues, different things that affect their education. So we have to tackle that stuff. How do we attack disengagement? Again, work one-on-one with students, have one-on-one discussions, do surveys, informal check-ins and feedback, see what the students are saying. We could talk about when I talked about the farms, if we have real world applications, make things relevant to our students, students could learn better that way also. I have to think what's happening right now. I was just watching a video, one of my mentors, and he was talking about the assignment. And to not look at your numbers, but look at your assignment. And so I have to think about that. Like, especially even with this podcast, are you trying to be famous, or are you trying to work on your assignment? What is your assignment? And my assignment is to talk to teachers, discuss strategies, and um, that is what it is. So it's not about me trying to be famous and blowing up. I remember I say that so much. It's like a joke, but it's like I'm serious. Why? Why? You know, you have an assignment. So that's just a little side note. And that's just something I had to I thought about just now. And so we working on in the classroom at the same time. What is our assignment? Why are we in the classroom? Our assignment is to educate our students and to have an impact and to be transformative. So if we have all these issues and all these things that are impeding that assignment, what are we going to do about it? We have to regroup, sit down, brainstorm maybe with other teachers, get to other teachers and talk. Sometimes that is a problem because educating students is like an isolated job. You know, you talk to teachers about different things, but at the same time, a lot of teachers don't want to act like they have problems in the classroom. You hear teachers talking about how great it's going or how it's not going or what they're doing, and then you're struggling. And so you don't even want to say because they're acting like you shouldn't be struggling. So things like that we have to discuss and remember what our assignment is, and it's to educate our students. My assignment is to educate my students and to give you information, give listeners information. And whether everybody gets it or don't, the people who need it will get it. The people who you are assigned to will understand. They will get what it is that you are trying to put out there. You need to reach out and talk to parents and discuss with parents what is happening in the classroom. Get the parents involved in the educating of the students. Sometimes you can reach, and parents are not even being involved, or they act like my child said you didn't have homework. When I tell you every day your child has homework, you know, I've been telling you that since September, October, November, January. You know, there's a meme that goes out. They always put something to it, and the man is like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, right? He's going over and over. I give you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The students have homework. Parents are saying, he's saying you have homework, but you know, every day they have to read, you know, every single day. So there are so many things. We have to get the parents involved. We have to get the students on board, how to bring them to be engaged. Sometimes you put on videos for them. You have PowerPoint, whatever it is that we need to do, we can do it to engage our students. That is something that we just have to, man, where is this? I'm going over here. You know, something that we just have to do in order to engage our students, engage who we are trying to reach. So let me see. I have some more. Let me see. Again, that's that fostering home and classroom partnerships. You know, we use our technology to do it. We use notebooks and we write down notes to the parents. You know, we get feedback from them and share their concerns, and we share ours. And then again, we I don't know how much we have to talk about that classroom management. We have to get that under wraps, because if you don't have your classroom is not managed well, it's going to be hard to educate your students no matter what. If we have these different behaviors, we have to get that under wraps. We have to use positive reinforcement and praise. We have to do all of that in order to make this work, be able to educate, you know, to be able to work on our assignment. What is our assignment is to educate. You know, how do we deal with disruptions in the classroom? We talked about that last week. We need to stay calm, maintain our composure. You know, we have to address minor disruptions immediately. You know, you could just call the child's name or walk next to them. You know, use nonverbal cues. That is something, but that is something we have to practice on an ongoing basis, or the student won't understand. They won't get it when you need them to get it. Also, um, we had, that restorative practice. We had in my school, my district, we had this restorative practice book. We had one, maybe two. I'm not sure. I think we had two. Could have not. Two PDs where we talked about restorative practices. That's what they're supposed to be doing in school. I don't know how it's working. I don't know. It was never reiterated or anything. But we have to understand and get to the underlying causes of these behaviors and create behavior plans. And also, again, that fostering that respect and cooperation. Teach. If you have to spend a month, 2 weeks with SEL, social emotional learning, and continue it on an ongoing basis, that's something that we have to do. We have to do it. And we have to walk in love. Everything we have to do is based on our assignment. So that way, if we're working up because of our assignment, when I say assignment, if you say you're called to teach, that's your assignment. If you say it's innate in you that you teach, that you educate second graders, kindergarten, small children, big kids, high schoolers, middle school, then that's your assignment. And so if you are on your assignment, then you're going to do it in love, and you have to love with what you do. I did a little speech the other day. I had 5 minutes to talk, and I was my subject was, what do some teachers say, I love what I do, but I hate my job. We have to get to the point where if you started in September and June, or you started in August and May, you still have that same desire to educate your students. You still have that same zeal to go on. We shouldn't be upset and angry. Like, we could get tired, but we shouldn't hate our job. We shouldn't, because you say you're called to do it. We shouldn't hate it. And then, another hot topic is for teachers is self-care. Our administration is pushing self-care when they're the ones causing damage. I say that all the time. You talk to self-care and take care of yourself, and we have had in the past. I don't know if we had it this year or not. We have had in the past since COVID happened. They decided they want to worry about our wellness. So they decided we're going to have some wellness days where they can provide some things to do, or you go out and do your own thing, go relax. Like, get off at 1 o'clock and you go home and take care of yourself. When I'm like, you're the cause. So why don't we come back to work? Well, so the idea is go home, self-care, come back renewed and rejuvenated with the idea of your assignment. This is my assignment. And so that is something that we have to discuss and talk about, our assignments and how we're going to love it. Because if it's your assignment, you should love it. If I'm called to do this, I should love my job. I should love what I do and love my job. Love teaching whatever it is I teach. Love administering, being in administration. Whatever it is, that is something that, we say we're called to do it. So let's do it without complaining, with a gratitude, with the attitude of gratitude. That is something I know people say. That is the something that causes your success. And I read a lot of books, and I listen to a lot of motivational speakers, back to like Earl Nightingale, Jim Rohn, it's another guy, I can't think of his name, and different books that we're reading, and that I'm reading, that I read with people, and that I'm reading now. And one thing they talk about, number one, Jim Rohn is, both of them, Earl Nightingale too, they're dead, by the way. But they think is attitude is the catalyst, or something that could make or break you, and you're being successful. is attitude. So if we have an attitude of gratitude, we start our day with an attitude of gratitude. There are things that we would not, we all have struggles. We all have issues and problems. You can't get away from problems, but you will tackle those problems a different way because you will look at it with solving a problem instead of this problem is on me. So our attitude, and then our goals. What is your goal? Let's sit here every week. We write our lesson plans. What is the goal? What are you trying to do this week? Every time you sit down with a lesson, with a lesson on math or whatever, what is your outcome that you want? Let's work on it. Okay, when I get up from here, my students will know that there are poems that have rhyming in them, right? So that's the goal. So what am I going to do to meet that goal? I'm going to bring out poems that have rhymes. I'm going to bring out poems that don't have rhymes. And we're going to see if we can find the difference. If we could see, what do we see that's the same in here? Even before they know that it's about that, right? Then they say, oh, those words rhyme. On the end of every sentence, those words rhyme. Or this one, they don't rhyme. Nothing sounds the same in this story. There's no rhyming words. So that's my goal. And did I accomplish it? Yes. Students are like, hat rhyme with cat. The cat in the hat. That rhymes. If that's a poem, I don't know. And if we're doing math, my goal today is to regroup. When we have to subtract 2-digit, 3-digit subtraction, and we have to regroup. We don't have enough ones, so we have to borrow some tens. That is my goal. So we're going to work on, how do I do that? I let the students know that if you don't have enough, if the bottom number is larger than the top number, then that means you have to borrow. If you have 6 ones and you need to subtract 9 ones, how can you do that? Then they have to understand that they have to go to the tens and take out a 10 and then make 10 ones, and then they could subtract. So do we meet that goal? If we didn't, let's go back to the drawing board the next day. I know I used to be frustrated because I'm telling the people in these departments, these students are not getting it. They're not understanding. They would tell me, well, it's going to come back around. But I had a problem with that. So now I understand we're going to do this the second day. I know tomorrow is going to be something different. We're going to go over it again in a different way, or we're going to let's try this one more time before we move on. So what is my goal? Each time I have a goal. So that is something. I am thinking about different hot topics. What is another hot topic? Another hot topic is having enough money. I don't even have this on my notes. Having enough money to make it through the summer. How do you do that? Do you save? For me, myself, I save 10% of my salary in a savings account that I can't touch. So that works for me. And actually, it really doesn't. It works, but I could use some more because I want to go places, right? So that means you got to save that and some more. I don't want to borrow any money. So do I need to get a second job? How does this work? That's a topic that teachers, that's a real topic that teachers have, is having enough money to make it in the summertime. What do you do? What are some things that you do for that? Because we could save, or some people don't have enough. What happens if you don't have enough? You can't save because you don't make enough money. That kind of thing. So that is a discussion. I know there are different activities that we can do. Another subject is you might want to travel in the summertime. So then not only do you have to save in the school year for the summertime for your bills, but then you still at the same time you have to save for your vacation, different things like that. So we have I don't know. Okay. I've been talking almost an hour. That's amazing. We have so many hot topics. We have workplace relationships, and our relationship with our administrator. We can go on and on about different challenges that we face, different outcomes that we want. what do we do for those? I just want to say thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you tuning in. And also, this again, I am Ronnette Branham, Empowered Educators. This is Empowered Educators with Ronnette Branham. We are committed to creating a vibrant and supportive community for educators, especially those in the foundation of faith. You know, our mission is to create a platform for us. You know, a place that we can go and have discussions about these hot topics, about things that are happening in education. You know, the standards are changing. We just had a meeting about different standards that have changed, or different wording, things that they added, things that they have taken away for next year. What are we going to do? Do our programs line up with the new curriculums? You know, all that kind of stuff. So we're here. This is what we want to do. This is what we're going to do. So again, I thank you for joining in. I thank you for tuning in and watching the podcast, wherever you are, whenever you are. So again, thank you for letting me offer. Letting me offer. Let me go back up and find that. For letting me inspire you, unlocking potential and inspiring excellence in you. So whatever you do, let's try to do it with excellence. Let's try to do it with our assignment in mind. I mean, this is something that should come naturally, and then we hone in on our skills, learn some new things, and work together. So you can reach me on YouTube at Ronnette Branham, you on Facebook, Empowered Educators with Ronnette Branham, but I think it says Empowering Educators. We're going to change the whole thing. I just am not able to, because I just changed it. If you go to TikTok, it's at Ronnette_Branham, and Instagram is at Ronnette Branham. My email is educatorswithoil@gmail.com or RonnetteBranham@gmail.com. I especially want you to go to YouTube and log into at Ronnette Branham and watch a video, comment on the video. Thank you. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. When I say share, find an educator who may want to join the community, may want to subscribe, may need something on a subject that we discussed in the past. Just share. I appreciate it. And thank you, and have a blessed day.